While we are out of playoffs, we are still trying to win as many games as we can, and in today's video, we are playing against Amol in week number 6 of the LTM. If you are excited for today's video, make sure to like and subscribe if you have not already. Trying to hit 1,000 subscribers, so hey, any subscription helps a ton towards hitting that goal. So getting into the matchup, we have a new Pokemon on our team. 2 new Pokemon, in fact. Cutiefly Regirock and Tauros Paldea Aqua have hit the bin, and we have picked up Conkeldurr and Terra Volbeat. So using a little bit more of the Terra points that we had access to, and getting Conkeldurr, which, while we lose our water type, hasn't been a typing that we necessarily needed a lot. Might have been nice against the Entei here, but we still got the Mudsdale. So going for something that's a little bit more offensive, kind of a little bit more of a breaker here, that we just didn't have access to much before. Not going to come in this build, but definitely something that is added to the toolkit that this team was definitely lacking in a lot of weeks that we were playing. Getting into this matchup specifically now, though, there is a lot going on here. Terra Reuniclus is such a threatening Pokemon in this battle. Like, when building and prepping, I was like, I'm kind of fine into everything else, it feels like. Maybe Hariyama can get a little dicey, because it's going to get to a point where my Mudsdale is overloaded in terms of its role. But Terra Reuniclus was like, man, I might just lose to this Pokemon straight up. And that was probably my biggest concern, whether it was like Steel Terra, Psychic Terra, any type of Terra was going to be a problem. Otherwise, Pokemon like Primarina, we do have good checks too, though they can't get worn down easily because it's, you know, we have to rely on Goodra. Overquill, we do have Talonflame for hazard removal, but there's still the opportunity to get stacked on here. Entei is very, very good, though we do have the Mudsdale for that. And then the rest of the team, Lilligant can be a little bit problematic. We do have Sap Sipper, Goodra, Hisui, which at least stops all of the main nonsense sets. So that's good. And then Snorlax just like could be an endgame sweeper here. Potentially, we do have the Conkeldurr, which can just be a very, very solid answer to that Pokemon, especially where the Snorlax is in Terra. So unlikely to come here, but overall, the big problem in this battle is going to be managing the Terra Reuniclus and getting into our team. The first Pokemon kind of has a little bit of that built in, so we're Assault Vest, Goodra, Hisui, Double Dragon Stab. Sludge Wave was my coverage move of choice, mainly because it gave me the super effective against Primarina, the super effective against Lilligant, and gives me the access to like just randomly poison Pokemon. Reuniclus coming in can obviously get poisoned. Now it's very likely to just be Magic Guard here. But Regenerator could also just be a very useful ability if he wants to go for like an Assault Vest regen set. Getting the poison on that would obviously be super awesome. But otherwise, Dragon coverage is really all we need. I don't expect Primarina to want to stay in at all. So we're going to be clicking Trick of Meteor in front of that as much as we can. And then Dragon Tail helps phase out some of these setup sets that could be problematic, like something like from Overquill. But mainly that Terra Reuniclus. Dragon Tailing it out, buying myself more time. Especially where my Terra captain is Terra Ghost this week. And Calm Mind is super powerful into Amol's team. +1 Shadow Ball on Terra Ghost just pretty much nukes the entire team outside of Overquill. And that's a Pokemon that has to come in on a lot here. It has to come in on this, come in on the Munkidori. We're going to get our hazards up right. That's a Pokemon we can expect pretty reasonably to be able to kill at some point in this battle. We're going for Pain Split as my healing move of choice. And the reason I'm doing this is, one, I want to be able to heal up on the Reuniclus, and that's obviously not going to happen too much, but if you think about it, like a Calm Mind Recover set, Strength Sap is not really going to be reliable recovery against that set because it's going to be like a minus attack, and it has a pretty crap attack. So this is the best way to guarantee HP in that matchup with the Machagacha as well. So that's kind of why I'm going for it here. I don't have a lot of Pokemon I actually want to Strength Sap against in general anyway. At a certain point, like once I get the Calm Mind or 2 up, a Breakthrough Reuniclus, I realistically am just fine to use Machagacha and Shadow Ball the rest of the way, and then Pain Split would be good enough if need be. So that's why we're doing that, but this set, Terra Ghost just like completely runs through Amol's team. We have to get rid of the Overquill first, but as I said, that's a Pokemon that is overstressed in the matchup on his side, so definitely a Pokemon we can expect to go down in the mid-game. We're going with the Boots, a Munkidori this week. Pretty standard set, just coming in, U-turning, trying to check different Pokemon. I would consider running Scarf, but we outspeed everything anyway, so we'd only be covering other Scarfs, and there's not really a good Scarfer candidate on Amol's team that we need to be super mindful of here in this battle. We're going to get picked off by the Extreme Speed by Entei anyway, so going for Boots here just allows me to not have to worry about spikes from that Overquill throughout the course of this battle. Citrus Berry Mudsdale, this is my rocker this week. There's a lot of opportunities to get up Stealth Rocks against Overquill, Entei, Hippowdon, and Hariyama, and Snorlax as well, right? So this is easily the most consistent way for me to get up hazards. The coverage we're going for, Earthquake, obviously hits the Overquill and the Entei, which is super important. Stone Edge here is really only because I didn't really need another move. I obviously could have had Roar because that gives me extra counterplay into like Belly Drum Hariyama, set up Entei. But I figured that like Belly Drum Hariyama would be very, very difficult to come here in this battle with Pokemon like Monkey Dory in the back and Talonflame, and even Frostlass to a certain extent. So I wasn't expecting that Pokemon to come, so we're doing that, and then Body Press obviously for the Snorlax. So Stone Edge here hits the Rotom Fan. I expect that Pokemon to come in aggressively. I had Smackdown for a while, but I figured might as well just deal the big damage with Stone Edge, right? Let's not overcomplicate things with Smackdown if need be. And realistically, Stone Edge helps break random substitutes from Entei as well, which I think Smackdown should do, but I wouldn't be confident in the calcs against a very bulky set. And potentially random subsets in Amel could bring. Very, very creative players, so I have to keep that in mind. Air Balloon Frostlass. This is a weird item on Frostlass, but this allows me to come in for basically free on Hippowdon unless it has Crunch. I expect it to only be Earthquake, right? Because the only Pokemon you would want to Crunch are the Sinistcha, which could either tear out of the weakness and just kill you anyway. The Monkey Dory, which you want, would probably just Earthquake anyway, or the Frostlass. So I figured Earthquake does enough to Frostlass, right? That I figured if I go Air Balloon, I can kind of catch that off guard and use that as a way to get up some big entry hazards in this battle. Pretty standard set for Frostlass spikes and Destiny Bond to just kind of pick off something in the mid game. Haze gives me even more counterplay to the Terror Uniclus, just like stopping any Calm Mind in its tracks. And then Shadow Ball here just as the best coverage move that I have access to. I want one that hits the Reuniclus for super effective. So forcing Terras helps simplify that endgame. And then the final Pokemon, Calm Mind to Dunsparce, is actually pretty interesting in this battle as just like a very standard sped up wall for stuff like the Reuniclus and Primarina. We can kind of set up in front of it a little bit. Rattled can trigger a semi-decent amount. There are random knockoffs, like if it is knockoff Reuniclus, that does give us a Rattle boost we can Calm Mind through. It's not super beneficial, but something to note. But Calm Mind Boom Burst is really just kind of the name of the game here. Get to +1, start boom bursting through my opponent's team, break down his defensive walls, and break down that Terror Uniclus. So that's the team. Thank you to Willa Rush for all of the mock support this week. Let's get right into it. It's time for the battle against Amel. He has Terra Psychic Reuniclus, which makes me think it's more of a Life Orb kind of set. Its typing is also really good for my Sinistcha, and that will always be super effective on the Shadow Ball against it. So our game plan really is to lead Monkey Dory, get a good lead off against his team, hopefully chip down the Overquill early, because if he can chip down the Overquill early, then that really opens up my Sinistcha into the mid to late game. So good luck, have fun to Amel. We've obviously had a very, very difficult season to say the least, so definitely want to put up a big victory on the board. He is exerting pressure. Our plan is to always go here into a Mudsdale on this Entei. Keep it simple. I want to get my Stealth Rocks up early because Stealth Rocks are going to be really important for that Overquill, because I can bring in my Sinistcha in the mid game on stuff like the Hippowdon, right? Start attacking. If I get Rocks up, really punishes that Overquill in this spot. Now, Amel could get creative here. He could be some sort of random special Entei set, but I think overall, it's not something I would expect you to necessarily lead with. And even if you do, I don't expect that to be a problem after one Calm Mind. I feel like an Earthquake should scare you out in that case. But we'll see what Amel wants to do here, of course. Amel really taking his time with this one, which gives me some pause as to what he could be thinking of doing. I feel like my Mudsdale switch is pretty face up though. And he's going to double. Okay, so Entei is not Choice Scarf, so that's good to know. We know that it switches out second and into Overquill. Well, I guess this wasn't exactly how I planned it, right? I didn't draw it up this way, but I'll sure take a free Stealth Rock on this turn. As I said, chat, Stealth Rock is so important in this battle for me to keep this Overquill's HP as low as possible. And it's just going to taunt. Okay, that's perfectly fine. Can't get my Rocks up, but we know a little bit more about this set. And now the question is what do I want to go for? I expect him to go into his own Apoudon, to be honest. Obviously, I don't expect him to stay in. Clicking a dark move would be pretty irresponsible, I think, from him. He could go Rotom Fan, but I'm going to go into my Sinistcha. I want to keep my offensive pressure up early. He switches out his Overquill. These are the type of plays that I haven't really been making this season. He goes Rotom, okay. I considered Stone Edging here, honestly, but I figured going into Hippowdon to get up Stealth Rocks would have been a lot more beneficial of a turn for Amol. So this is a little bit annoying. I guess it could, this wasn't exactly the play I was predicting, so good unable to make that. We do have our Goodra Hisui, so that's a good, easy switch in for us. So, man, I was thinking that in my head. But yeah, as I said, I feel like Apoudon is so obvious there that I don't know if I can necessarily... it would just be too irresponsible to risk it, right? I guess it wouldn't even be irresponsible. I don't know. I think it's just, I feel like the Sinistcha covers a more obvious play. So I'm okay with that. We don't have a lot of information on this team, though. We don't have a Rocks Up, which isn't great. I could have considered Earthquaking. No, that would never make sense. Now, Amol's spot is interesting here, right? Because this Sinistcha could be a lot of things. It's really hard for him to get a good grasp as to what I could be doing here. And he is just going to withdraw. Let's see what he goes into. He goes into his Entei. Okay, that's fine. Interesting. So we know it's not Scarf. It could very easily be Choice Band here. I'm not in a position where I really need to be taking unnecessary damage. Mudsdale is just so free here. And if Amol does want to meet the double, so he's going to stay in an attack. So this should be free Stealth Rocks here. With the Stamina and the Citrus Berry, there should be no situation that I don't get my Stealth Rocks up here. Substitute, okay. So sub leftovers. I mean, I'm obviously not going to get my rocks up here because there is a random chance that this could go wrong. Maybe it's just some random setup set, so I might as well just Earthquake here. And he's Lava Plume. Okay, so he is special. As long as I don't get burned here, we're happy with that. Get my stamina up. So, yeah, sub special. And I think I'm going to take this opportunity to get my Stealth Rocks up. Where this is also a subset, and it's special, this is a lot easier now for me to break with my Sinistcha, which is super important. And if Lava Plume is his best way to answer this Pokemon, then I'm okay with that. So let's just get up our Stealth Rocks here, as he's likely going to have to switch out. He might go to his own Apoudon here. I still feel like I guess Apoudon doesn't literally do anything to this Pokemon, right? So if you're worried about ID press, then that could be something to play around. So it looks like he's just going to sub up. But I get my rocks up. That's important, right? This is really important for that Overquill. We want to punish it coming in as much as possible. That is the key here in this battle. And now, even with the burn, right? This Earthquake is we're always breaking substitutes. So I'm okay to just continue to Earthquake. For as long as I can here. It's only doing 104, so let's see how much. Let's try to do a calc here. That's actually I don't think it was exactly 104 actually. I feel like I miscounted that. This looks to be no investment. Yeah, this looks to be no investment on the Entei. We are losing a lot of HP on this Pokemon, which is not the best. Interesting question is, do I Stone Edge on this turn? Because at this point, I've got my rocks up right. Rotom Fan was a play that Amol made earlier. Worst case, I miss and I get my Citrus Berry up. I'm going to Stone Edge, fuck it. Let's get aggressive with it. He's just going to Protect, okay. So it's Sub Protect. And now I think it's a lot harder for him to go into Rotom Fan here. And now that I've shown the Stone Edge to play around that. That also saves a little bit of Earthquake power points. Not that that's the biggest deal in the world right now. But obviously something to keep in mind as this battle goes on. I'm just going to Earthquake because you're either going to substitute. Yeah, I'm just going to sub up. So yeah, just a pressure stall set here with the Entei for the Mudsdale, which is fine, right? This Pokemon is for the Entei. So if I lose my entire Mudsdale trying to answer the Entei, I think I'm okay with that, right? That's mission accomplished. At the end of the day, I have 10 more of these. I have to be mindful of them, so I'm going to Stone Edge again, expecting to protect. Perfect. So either protect or Rotom Fan here. Good for me. Conserve my PP the best that I can. Obviously, losing these Stone Edges is kind of bad, right? But Amel, now that he knows that I have it, is going to be less likely to make a play where I can benefit from clicking Stone Edge. So I'm perfectly okay with that. And let's just drop an Earthquake here. Perfect. I guess I could also go for the Body Press at some point. As long as the main thing, as long as I don't Earthquake into a Protect, then this situation is perfectly fine for me, all things considered. And now I have 2 more Stone Edges. I think I'll Body Press this time. I do have the Stamina boost, right? So I can actually just Body Press now. Because I'm at what? I'm at +2? No, I'm at +1. So I gain some max HP. Yeah, this is breaking max HP every time. So I'll just Body Press at this point. Because I'll want to preserve some Earthquakes, obviously, for I want to preserve some Earthquakes, obviously, for the, what's it called? The Overquill. Now this thing's pretty low. I got my rocks up, so this thing, we don't know last move, but it might not be extreme speed, which I think is pretty good. It allows me to revenge kill this now with Monkey Dory. So things are opening up for us here, which is nice, right? Like, this is good for me. And now this substitute goes up. This sub will be broken by a Body Press because I'm at +1. I preserve my Earthquake PP. Yep. And we are in such a good spot right now. Is this get like some Endeavor? I mean, do I care if it gets Endeavor? Honestly, I don't really care, right? As I said, like this is for this Pokemon, so I'm not like super worried about this. I think I Earthquake this time because if you for some reason attack, then I'm in a good spot because I obviously just killed this Pokemon. He could get aggressive trying to play around like a Body Press not killing and just try to kill my Mudsdale. So let's try to play. He did catch him. He did know. He knew that this wouldn't have killed. I guess this has a chance to kill after the plus defense is always a possibility, right? Just no burn here is big. Perfect. Okay, we get rid of the Entei, chat. This was an interesting opening. This Entei could have been really problematic, but we get out of that one relatively unscathed, actually, which is good. So Entei's down, one of the big threats of this team. The main threat of this team, though, is the Reuniclus, right? Reuniclus is so powerful of a Pokemon. This reveals to not be Boots. I think this was choice specs a lot of the time in preparation that it came. So we're just going to go right into Goodra. Goodra is for this Pokemon. Just expecting stuff like a Moonblast to come out. But the big problem here, chat, is that Reuniclus is so annoying. And while we do have good HP still, Psychic Noise, okay, we'll take that. That is literally no damage. That is embarrassing damage, respectfully. And that's going to be leftovers. Don't like that lag coming out of here from the game. And now at this point, Amel can't stay in, right? Like, they would be super irresponsible to stay in this spot. So I think I'm just going to drop a Draco Meteor. It's just my best play all around at this point. I'm trying to think if there's like a situation, Prim Arena, where I like somehow outspeed this. But I don't think I've put myself in a position to do that. So let's just drop a Draco. Amel's got to switch out here. And he's just going to protect. Okay, so he's playing the full scout game here. Which is a little annoying. It forces me, honestly, to Sludge Wave here, which is not great. Because there's a percentage chance that he just stays in here. He could just go Reuniclus, of course. I mean, I could just Draco again, right? Am I just goated with it? Like, what is Amel going to do on this turn? He's not going to do a relevant amount of damage. And he might think that I'm going to switch out. I'm Dracoing. Okay, he's got Encore. Okay. That's good to know. So now I clicked as it stayed in. Okay, so now we know full basic information about this Primarina. I think I could go into Sinistcha here. I think I could also just go into my... I don't want to lose HP on this if I don't have to. So like Primarina with Psychic Noise, what was that calc? Was it like 30? It's pretty low investment, I think. The problem is Sinistcha takes so much damage from Moonblast that it's just not worth it to go to that Pokemon right now. I think my best move is just to go to Dunsparce and to put some pressure with the Boom Burst. Just put up some offense, get some offensive pressure going. The NFL is back, chat. Shout out to the NFL. And this should do a pitiful amount of damage. It does what? 50. So minus 54. Minus 54 again. So that's 108. That was a little bit more damage than I thought. So this is not Assault Vest. This might be some sort of boot. We know this is leftovers, right? Yeah, leftovers. Amadas, Psychic Noise. I feel like my calcs are just like super wrong here. For whatever reason. I don't know. I'm just like a bot with calcs. It feels like. I'm just going to Boom Burst here. Boom Burst is going to give me the most damage. Moonblast will do a decent amount. But we take that. And that is a good amount of damage, but... The only thing that's a little awkward with this is we do lose the opportunity to heal back up. So this is... Or we lose a little bit of an opportunity. I could Calm Mind here. But you were faster than me. I think I'm in a position where I just want to continue to keep offensive pressure. Let's just Boom Burst again. Okay. As long as I don't get a drop, I'm okay with this turn. Drop is a little bit annoying. But we're opening up some good chip here, chat. We're opening up some good chip, which is all that matters here. Given where I expect this game to go, I'm okay with a good amount of chip. And if I sack this Pokemon, I'm just going to go back into Goodra Hisui and just Sludge Wave. Just keep it simple. Yeah, and he just Moonblast again. Okay, so we lose her to Dunsparce. This CM to Dunsparce could have been interesting, but this Primarina is pretty good against it. And this set is good against it is the problem. Like this would have been kind of pictured for that situation. So alas, we can't really do that. Monkey Dory, it's in a position where I could just die to Sludge Wave. I could just go Sinistcha as well. Sinistcha and Machagacha is a little bit more risky. Monkey Dory I kind of need to clean up a little bit in the end game. And I still want this Pokemon around. I'll just go Monkey Dory. Monkey Dory should be able to pick up this knockout. It's actually, I mean, it has a chance to protect here, right? So I think what I'll do is just U-turn. I think Amel is very likely to just either to protect or switch out here. I guess if I was predicting the protect, I should have Sludge Wave, but the U-turn here will be really nice as I expect Overquill to come in every time. Perfect. Good turn for me. We scare out that the initial threat of the Primarina. We know it's full set now. We know it's kind of this like a medium speed Encore kind of set, which will hold back our Calm Mind Sinistcha for a good amount of time. But this U-turn is nice. And now I get a good position for Mudsdale to come in here. I guess the question is do I Stone Edge, chat? Am I feeling myself? Am I feeling myself with a Stone Edge? Or am I feeling myself with another kind of play? Yeah, I mean, we're going Mudsdale, right? Am I feeling myself with that Stone Edge? This is Black Sludge as well, okay? I think you're realistically just gonna go Hippowdon or Uniclus there. I don't think you're gonna go Rotom Fan. I think that would be a little bit unrealistic of a play here. So I think what I do is I try to high roll him staying in because I think Rotom Fan is a really hard Pokemon for him to go into here. I've shown myself a willingness to Stone Edge in situations where he's shown to go Rotom Fan in the past. So I kind of play into that knowledge here. Yeah, Hippowdon comes in perfect. So I get a little bit of Earthquake chip off this, right? So get the rocks damage, get some Earthquake damage. He gets a sand up, but I get my Sinistra in, which is super nice. I considered a double on this turn. I really did, but I don't think that's really going to do too much. What I could also do, actually, I do have this air balloon Frost Slash, which kind of was for this position. It helps me get up a spike here, which is nice, and I actually do think I want to get up a spike here. Worst case, if he does something crazy, then I can like Destiny Bond it and like take it away from me. But with the air balloon, I should be able to at least get up a spike or two here and really put pressure on the rest of his team. There goes the rocks. So we expected that. That was that was to be expected. The South Rocks, unsurprising there. I'm going to lose a little bit to the Sandstorm, of course. But the air balloon, it's going to be really hard for him to do much in this battle, and I got a spike up. So this spike will make Hippowdon much harder to come in, will make my Shadow Ball turns a lot better. It's going to put more pressure on that Overquill, which is really, really nice. Super happy about all of that. And free hazards are free hazards, right, chat? Like, that's that's super important. All right, let's see what he goes for. He might just be packing Stone Edge here, or he just might be going for the Slack Off. And he just has Crunch, okay. Good to note. Air Balloon pop, I get a spike up. I might as well Destiny Bond here, right? I think I could just Ice Beam here, which like negates a lot of the benefit he could get. So I'll just Destiny Bond here to see if I can take this Pokemon out with me. And he is going to withdraw, okay. So that's good for me, because he just goes Overquill, and I'll just get up another spike here. Because he can't Aqua Jet, because he would die to the Destiny Bond. Yeah, he would die to the Destiny Bond, and I get up another spike here. Second spike is obviously like kind of troll and useless, but for the most part. But I don't have like a better thing I can do on this turn, and it does like continue to make it much easier for me to break through this Overquill. So let's just get a spike up, see what he does, and then in this situation we can go into Mudsdale again, because then the Earthquake is really good there as well. And then that's a turn I can really consider the Stone Edge, right? Stone Edge is a really good consideration, for me at least, on that turn. Because then at that point, he knows that Earthquake after Rocks and 2 spikes is going to be pretty good for me into that Hippowdon, and he's more likely to try to go Rotom Fan. So Barbarage comes out, we lose our Pokemon. That's fine, we got 2 layers of hazards up. That's going to really pressure the Primarina, really pressure the Hippowdon. Really pressure, hopefully the Reuniclus, it might be Regenerator. Regenerator AV was a set that we brought in mock, so if that's the case, then this really helps me out as well. But we're just going straight here into the Mudsdale. Keep it very simple. This is the $1 million question, chat. This is the $1 million question, is do I want to go for the Stone Edge here and try to pick that Pokemon out of the sky? He could obviously be like Destiny Bond himself. If he goes into the, what's it called? If he goes into the Hippowdon, then I think we just stand and start Earthquaking, because we should win that war eventually. I'm Stone Edging. I'm him. I'm goated. Okay, so he's just going to sack this Pokemon. Alright, I tried to be him. That's fine. I'm okay with making aggressive plays if I feel like they're going to win me the game. At this point, I will just Earthquake, because the second spike doesn't matter too much at the end of the day. So let's just take this Pokemon if he'll give it to me. Okay, he will give it to me. So Overquill down. This is great news, chat. This is great news for me, because this gives me a really good opportunity. This gives me a really good opportunity to do some good stuff with my Sinistra here. How I want to play this is important, but this is a good position. Of any of the positions I've been in this season, this one is one of the better ones. We both have the same amount of hazards set up. Primarina comes out. And look at all that chip damage taken, right? Sludge Wave is going to be such a good turn here after the fact. Do I just sack this Pokemon? What use do you have? You're good against Hippowdon, but so is Sinistra at this point. I'd rather just like sack this Pokemon and get a powerful Sludge Wave turn off. Sludge Wave is a very, very powerful click here on this turn. So let's just Earthquake and sack this Pokemon off. Psychic Noise, there's no way that it doesn't kill, right? Yeah, I was going to say, does that somehow not kill? that has to be impossible. Yeah, so I'm good with that. Hippowdon. But now I get to go Monkey Dory for free, right? So we know that with this thing with super low HP, this Sludge Wave is super free click for me here. Even if he goes Hippowdon, I expect that to be a positive turn for me. And at work, I mean, he could go like into Reuniclus, I guess. Reuniclus Sludge Wave into U-turn could be devastating potentially, depending on the set. Well, not devastating, right? But it could be not great for him. Because he has to know that there's no like great switch into this besides a Reuniclus. And I don't know if he necessarily wants to risk it. I mean, if he's like Regenerator, this is potentially a 2-KO on some Regenerator sets. The thing is, like with a Magikarp, that plus a U-turn, it's going to put so much damage on that Pokemon that I don't know if he's willing to take at this point. I think a Monkey Dory is in a good spot to pick this game up, or at least pick up a lot of the pieces of this game. Primarina down. And now we're into a 3v3. The game continues to get interesting. Reuniclus comes out. Let's see what we see. Alright, we see Magikarp or Heavy Duty Boots. Either way, if it's a Magikarp Scarf, then you've got me. Nice voice crack, Keegan. If you're Magikarp plus Thing plus Choice Scarf, you got me, I guess. I'm just going to U-turn. But I think you're coming into this because this is the best Pokemon for this situation. And he is going to Terra. But if I think if I U-turn and go into Goodra Hisui, then I can come into my Terra Sinisha after the fact and feel really good about my position. Yeah, you're not Choice Scarf. That would have been... Ooh, that is pretty defensive, I think. That might actually be very defensive. I have Dragon Tail here, so I'm going to go into my AV... my AV Goodra Hisui. And it's just going to Side Shock. Okay. So we'll see how much this does. This is going to do a lot, I think. 255. Actually, not a lot. I think there's a decent chance here that I just Dragon Pulse into Reuniclus. Psyshock did what, like 255 down to like 80? Yeah, so it's not Life Orb. It could be some sort of modest set. Focus Blast is doing a decent amount. I think I'm just going to Dragon Pulse. I think Dragon Pulse is my best turn here. I think it's just my best turn to deal as much damage as possible. Put it into a position where Sinisha can Revenge Kill, and he's just going to recover. Okay. So he's going to just try to stall me out. At least. So that's good to know. So recover. So what's your last move here? What's your last move? Calm Mind? I mean, I'm putting F Blast because I assume that's what you have to have in this spot. I think I'm just going to Dragon Tail to play around Calm Mind here. Alright, he's just going to Psyshock again. So this Dragon Tail is going to be good for me. So it's not some sort of setup set, which is good. The Dragon Tail is going to put him out into something. I really want to see Hippowdon here. Hippowdon would be massive. The Rotom Fan. Is this Boots? No, it's not Boots. Okay. The problem is I'm at so low HP that I don't think this is a good turn for me. Rotom Fan. I guess there's nothing he can do to me. I guess I can just drop a Dragon Pulse. Yeah, I guess I just drop a Dragon Pulse. There's not much he can do to me. He can just go back into Reuniclus, I guess. Yeah, I think he actually does go into Reuniclus here. So I'll just Dragon Tail again. Yeah, just Volt Switch. I want to see if I can force a situation where I can get that Hippowdon in. Because this, like, Rotom could also... Yeah, oh, Hippowdon just comes in here. Okay. So he just wants to sack the Hippowdon. This is actually good for me as well. Because if he goes into Rotom Fan, then I just make the same play again, I think. So now the Hippowdon is dead. And I'd really love to see Rotom Fan here. That's Rotom Fan, right? Perfect, chat. Perfect! Oh, this is a perfect play. This is a perfect play. What is the Sandstorm at? That could be relevant. Yeah, it just got set up again. I think I just Dragon Tail again, right? It just... The Dragon Tail again kills the Rotom, right? Because it has to eat the Dragon Tail, then switch it on rocks. I can go into my Terra Sinistra, attack it a few times. We're good to go. I think we've got a chat. I think we finally won a goddamn game in this league. Oh my god, what a stressful game of Pokemon this was. So many of the plans that Emil had for me, I mean, they were really good, right? I mean, like the Reuniclus was such a powerful threat in this battle, and Emil definitely had a lot going on with that Pokemon, but I think we've done just enough to prevent that from really hurting us in this battle. And now with the Hippowdon in a situation that it's dead to Spike's Rotom, is dead to Spike's Trick? Okay. This is just tricking a Choice Scarf. Okay, so it was Scarf. That's good to know. Ooh, I do miss this, actually. What does that do? That doesn't do anything, right? I just continue to make the same play. Yeah, I'll just keep making the same play. But now that he doesn't have the Scarf, I should be able to come into my Monkey Dory and kill this after the fact as well. Alright, he is going for the flinches. Alright, he gets two of... Oh, no, he doesn't get two of these. Ah, the flinch is not great. But after both of the buffets, right, there should be no... There's no way this thing lives. The Monkey Dory, right? A bit, the item... Assault Vest. 252. Like, there's no way this set lives. Oh, I guess I get one more shot at it, so I guess I should go for it. Yeah, I guess I might as well. I might as well click it again, right? Because yeah, I'm a Steel type. He is gonna withdraw. Okay, into Reuniclus or into Hippowdon, trying to get that free Reuniclus turn. This didn't actually die. I thought this would have died. I mean, it was literally 1 HP, so that's perfectly fine. And now, Sinistra Terra Ghost against Reuniclus with the Shadow Ball should assuredly be a kill, or should be close enough to one. And no Side Shock rolls should kill me. Not any one. I don't think there's any combination of sets here that actually win Emil the game. Yeah, I don't think there's any combination of sets that can win him the game here. Okay, so this looks to just be, and especially with that chip too, right? So this looks to be Magic Guard plus another item. So I'll just Dragon Tail here again. He's gonna withdraw, okay. Or maybe this, I'm not sure what this play is. Oh, he's gonna be some sort of setup set. Oh, okay, I see what he's doing. He's trying to set up a last Mon, he's trying to set up last Mon with Reuniclus to start Calm Minding. Yeah, I see what's happening here now. This should still be fine for me. Yeah, this should still be very fine. So I just go into my Sinistra here. I guess I maybe could have played around that. I hadn't really considered this option to Emil, but I think with my Terra, I should be able to do just enough damage to it, especially with boots. Alright, he's going to Trick Room. Is this OTR? This looks to maybe be OTR. Thing is, you die to Shadow Ball given my set, I think. Do I Matcha Gotcha first? I think I should Matcha Gotcha first, right? Just to be responsible. What is... I could Pain Split. Pain Split should always... If he's faster, right? It should always gain me HP back here. I'll Pain Split. I think this should always net me HP. This should always net me the range that I'm looking for if it's OTR. Because yeah, if it's OTR, I could just lose this game on the spot, right? And if it's set up, then I should be fine. So he should outspeed and attack me. Yeah, okay. Oh, I guess he's also faster, so that also changes that calc a little bit. Okay, this should be fine. I hadn't considered the that this would be literally faster. I guess this risks a crit now. Yeah, I guess this technically risks a crit, but we should be able to live this and pick up our first win in the LTM chat, barring a crit. Perfect. Shadow Ball plays around any like high special defense shenanigans with OTR. I think we weren't at risk to crit there either. So perfect, chat. There we go. It's about damn time we won one of these battles. Definitely an endgame that could have gone not my way, but at the end of the day, we're on the board. Our plan to go 4-5 is coming to fruition. Good games to Amel. We always have great games against Amel. He played that one really well. Very difficult always to kind of get into Amel's head and think of what he's trying to do. But our sets just seem, our sets seem really good this week. Sinisha was really good this week, and we pulled off what could have been a very, very dicey game. That's all I got for today's video. We'll see you all next week. And as always, have a wonderful day.